All right, let's take a look at number 15. So it says find the zero of the linear function. Well, one of the things that we need to know is that a zero means that the y value is zero. Okay, it's not at all clear when you just hear that language, right? But it means that the y value is zero. So we're going to go ahead and substitute the zero in for the f of x. And then let's go ahead and solve for the x. So we're going to go ahead and add 6 first, because we're trying to get the x by itself. So let's rip stuff away from the x. So 0 plus 6 is 6. And you can do this so many different ways, okay? We've been getting rid of fractions in this class by multiplying by the LCD. So let's start with that. I could multiply both sides by 5, since 5 is the least common denominator. It's the least common denominator because it's the only denominator, right? So then that's going to make these 5s cancel, and we don't have fractions anymore. So 5 times 6 is 30, and we're left with 3x on the other side. So to get rid of the 3x, we're going to go ahead and divide by 3. So we know that x equals 10. Now let's take it from this spot right here. It's like rewind, okay? So, or if you're right here and you want to, get rid of it, a lot of times we're used to dividing by 3/5. Now, if you're doing this by hand, you can see why you might want to avoid this method and do it in the way that I did it, right? But this is a perfectly valid method. And if you have the calculator that's recommended for the class, then this isn't bad, right? You would just say, okay, let me pick a fraction. 6 is in the numerator. And then we have to hit the fraction again because 3/5 is what's in the denominator, right? So it's like a fraction within a fraction. All right, so we end up with, there's our 10. Okay, so you can have your calculator do it for you. Now try to do as much by hand as possible. Only go to the calculator if you have to, because you're going to be a stronger student if you can do these things by hand. And sometimes there will be x's in this in the future, and there's no way you could go to the calculator for it if there was a variable in that, right? So you want to try to do as much by hand. That's why I showed you it by hand here. Plus, it might even be easier than by the time you've typed this into the calculator. Honestly, this might have been easier in the end. Okay, I mean, of course, you have to get proficient at it, but once you do, this is actually faster than busting out your calculator and having that done. All right, you guys. Hopefully this helps you with finding the zeros on number 15. Take care.